plant a garden at my house every single spring, and every year I'm hopeful for a good, bountiful crop. Now, that may be a little optimistic considering my garden's not very big, but that's how I approach it every single year. Long about midsummer, I start making excuses as to why it's not going so well. We've had too much rain. We haven't had enough rain. It's been too hot. It's been too cool. Bugs are eating the plants. Critters are eating everything. I could go on and on. But by the end of the summer, I just admit that gardening is very difficult and I'm not very good at it. And then I blame Adam. I joke with Kristen that I got the better end of the deal. If I had to choose between pain in childbirth or fighting with the ground to grow some produce, I'm choosing the latter every single time. But really, Adam's disobedience brought so much more than weeds into the world. Adam's sin brought sin itself and separation from God. And that's the real punishment. Adam and Eve were driven out of the garden and, most importantly, out of fellowship with God. And as the father of the whole human race, he passed that on to all of us. Thanks, Adam. But I love Paul's words in Romans chapter 5. He says, yes, Adam's one sin brings condemnation for everyone, but Christ's one act of righteousness brings a right relationship with God and new life for all who believe. Can you imagine living in a world where sin doesn't exist, where everything is perfect, and most importantly, where we are in the actual presence of and a right relationship with God Himself? I have a hard time imagining a world where my tomatoes grow well. I'm so thankful for Christ's death on the cross that made it possible for me to have my sin forgiven, and for His resurrection, conquering death and making it possible for me to live for all of eternity with Him. Someday, I will have a garden that produces a bountiful crop and no weeds. But when that day comes, that will not be what I celebrate. Jesus will be my focus, my joy, and my celebration.